everyone, welcome back to CBSE Learners. This is me Pooja N.K. Rao. I welcome you all to my online classes where you can learn absolutely free of cost. So this class is for my class 8 students, and in this class I will be giving you one idea about the chapter The Glimpses of the Past, which is from your class 8 NCERT syllabus. Okay. Now, if the glimpses of the past is one extracted portion, you can tell it's not the whole portion. It's one extracted piece from a book named Our Freedom Movement. Okay, and it's basically written by S.T. Sawant, and there are other collaborators too, like R.K. Sawant. So this chapter will give you some idea, not the whole idea, but some idea about the past. You can understand from the title Glimpses of the Past. Glimpses means a quick view, but not a complete one. Okay, so glimpses of the past means we'll get a quick view of the freedom struggle of past, means history in this chapter, but not the complete one. Some quick view, some little knowledge we will be getting about history from this chapter, and more probably this chapter will tell you how the English language came into existence in our culture, our ethnic culture, Indian culture. Okay, so let's start the chapter. I hope all of you are having your NCERT book. I will be reading from the NCERT book. Okay, before you read, here are some pictorial glimpses of the history of our country from 1757 to 1857. So see, I have seen that in your 8th class syllabus, you are having a chapter in your SST named Trade to Territory. Okay, so from here they have said how they established and what happened from 1757 to 1857. So what is the importance of the date 1757? Okay, I hope most of you know, and if you don't know, in 1757 the first war happened. That war was named as Battle of Palasi, and it happened in Palasi in West Bengal between Sirajuddaulah and the East India Company, British East India Company, under the guidance of Robert Clive. Okay, so Robert Clive was the Governor General of West Bengal at that time. Okay, so Battle of Palasi. 1757, the Battle of Palasi happened. So it was the first war which makes the British powerful, because if you have learned that chapter Trade to Territory, you have an idea that the Britishers didn't come to our country for ruling our country. Actually, they have come to our country to do business, but they wanted more profit, and their thought of getting more profit made them to rule our country. Okay, so this from 1757 to 1857. Now what happened in 1857? 1857, the Great Revolt. Okay, the Great Revolt or Naval Revolt. Now, why this revolt happened? So, in 1857, it is known as the First War of Independence too. Now, why? Because actually the bullet at that time used for wars, there were several Brahmins and Muslim people working in this army, sepoys. Okay, British East India Army. There were several Hindu and Muslim people who used to work under the sepoy or the Muslim East India Company as sipahi or army. Okay, but the bullet they used for the war was having either beef fat or pig fat. So for the Hindus, they are unable to have the beef fat, and for the Muslim people, they were having problem to have the pig fat. Okay, because these are against their customs. These are against their religious customs. Okay, so why the problem came? Because the bullet they were using were having beef fat or pork fat, which they have to bite with their mouth. So as they have to bite with their mouth, they have no other choice to revolt against this. Okay, so from 1757 to 1857, they ruled our country and they did lot of torture and they exploited us within this 100 years. Okay, so it started from the chapter started from the number 1 point, which is the martyrs. So martyrs are those people or soldiers who had sacrificed their life for our country, for the well-being, to get independence, or the well-being of our country. Okay, so in the first page you will see at a function in Delhi. So you will see one lady singing the song. I think most of you know who is that lady. That lady is none other than the Nightingale of not Nightingale. This a lady with a beautiful voice who is Lata Mangeshkar. Okay, so she is singing a song at a function in Delhi. Oh my countrymen, let your eyes fill with tears as you recall the sacrifices of Indian martyrs. So she is saying that, oh my countrymen. So this song has been translated from Hindi to English in this chapter. I think most of you know what is the song, because in your Independence Day you will get to hear this song. Oh my countrymen, okay, let your eyes fill with tears as you recall the sacrifices of Indian army martyrs. So this song is the song like ए मेरे वतन के लोगों जरा आँख में भर लो पानी, जो शहीद हुए हैं उनकी जरा याद करो कुर्बानी. So I hope this song you have heard. Okay, so this is a function in Delhi. Singing queen Lata Mangeshkar was singing this song. In the first point you can see this scene. Okay, so this chapter is in a pictorial form. You can't say that in a comic form. It's in a pictorial form. They have given you in a picturization mode. Okay, now the second point, the company's conquest. That is from 1757 to 1849. They started conquering land and they started war from 1757. They started first from the Battle of Palasi. With its superior weapons, the British East India Company was extending the power in 18th century India. Indian princes were short-sighted. That upstart Raja called the English merchants. They will help me to defeat him. The people had no peace due to such constant fight. Okay, so the company's conquest, the first thing was what helped the Britishers was that they were having superior weapons compared to our Indian army. Okay, and the second thing is our Indian princes were short-sighted. Actually, they want to get the more benefit of the Indian army, British East India Company. They thought that the British East India Company will be helping them to win against the other king, and they will help them to conquer more territories. Okay, so the first thing was the reason they won is the first thing is superior weapons. And second thing is short-sighted Indian princes. Okay, so these are the reasons of their success. Of whose success? Reason of success of British East India Company, how they succeeded to rule us. how they came into existence for ruling us. Okay. Now, the rivalries helped East India Company and it could easily subdue Indian princes one by one. So, the rivalries between the one king and other king helped the East India Company, and they started throwing one king one by one all the kings. Now, can you tell me that about which settlement or about which policy these kings are talking or these kings are discussing in this chapter, that the British East India Company will be helping us to conquer the other states or to defeat the other king? This is none other than the subsidiary alliance. The subsidiary alliance, I think you have read in Trade to Territory chapter, where the king has to pay to maintain an army of British East India Company with superior weapon on some tax or allowance they have to pay to the British East India Company, and on the behalf of that king, the British East India Company is going to send their army and they are going to train their soldiers and they are going to defeat the other king. So this helped them to earn some more money. To earn some more money for whom? For British East India Company. And since there was lot of rivalries between the present Indian kings at that time, the contemporary kings at that time, so they had easily conquered or defeated one and other king one by one. Okay, all the kings one by one. A far-seeing ruler like brave Tipu Sultan of Mysore fought the British till he died fighting. But there was one ruler who was far-seeing, who was not short-sighted. So that ruler was none other than Tipu Sultan of Mysore. Okay, so Tipu Sultan was son of Hyder Ali. Both Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan stopped the export of sandalwood, cardamom. Basically at that time the Britishers used to come to our country for doing business and to buy sandalwood, cardamom, black pepper, clove. Okay, for buying spices. So they stopped immediately the export of these things to the Britishers by saying that they don't want to export them and they can't export anything from that place. Okay. So he was far-seeing. He knew the future result, what is going to happen if these Britishers are going to stay and do like this. Okay. Thank God there is peace in the country now. No more wars and no looting by thugs. It is God who sent the British. So see, how did Indians react to this conquest? So when this conquest happened, how did the foolish other contemporary rulers of that time, they reacted? They were thinking that there is lot of peace in the country and there is no looting by thugs. And they were thinking that it was God who has sent the Britishers to save them. Our destiny is linked with them. So they thought that our destiny, our fate. So we Indians always believe in destiny or fate, right? So they thought that our destiny is linked with those Britishers. The white man has killed our dethroned king. Dethroned our king. Now we have become slaves of foreigners. Some kings were not good, but after all they were of this land. So after some time they were discussing that Britishers have either killed or dethroned of our king. Some are saying that, array, now we are becoming slaves of these Britishers. And later someone is saying that, I know those kings were not good, but at least they were our men. So slowly they are understanding the result of this British conquest and British ruling. Okay, that we Indians are going to become the slaves of this British. Now the third point is British rule from 1765 1836. So 1765, this was the time after Battle of Bhakta. Okay, so British rule started from, after Battle of Palasi, they I think in Battle of Palasi you have read that this was the first battle, and at that time Britishers were not interested to rule. So what they did, they kept one puppet king on the throne, and the puppet king was Mir Jafar, who was the traitor, who was actually one army general of Siraj-ud-Dawla. But he cheated Siraj-ud-Dawla. If he has not cheated Siraj-ud-Dawla, the Siraj-ud-Dawla will definitely win, because the soldiers under Mir Jafar never fought the war. So the war was successful for Britishers because of Mir Jafar. So after this battle of Palasi, they placed Mir Jafar as a king on the throne of Bengal. But what happened after some days, as Mir Jafar was a puppet king, he was realizing that, and he was going against the Britishers. Okay, so slowly they thrown Mir Jafar, and they placed Mir Qasim, who was son-in-law of Mir Jafar, as the king. Okay, so later once again they placed Mir Jafar, and they fought a battle of Bhakta in 1764. Okay, in 1764 they fought battle of Bhakta. 1764 battle of Bhakta. Okay, so in after this battle of Bhakta from 1765, they started ruling our country. At that time they thought that it is waste to place any puppet king, because a king of this land is going to feel for their country. So they stopped placing any puppet king. Instead they thought of ruling by themselves. Okay, so from 1765 to 1866, so British rule. We will read about the British rule from 1765 to 1836. Okay, now see this chapter. Religious leaders preached ideas like untouchability and child marriage. So see, everything, or any negative thing, if you imagine it negative, I think you have seen that anything will bring both in positive and negative thing along with themselves. Okay, even if anything is negative, if you notice carefully, you will find at least something positive in that. Okay, now in British rule, what positivity was there were a lot of superstitions in our country before British rule, and there were a lot of oppressions from the higher caste people to the lower caste people. There were untouchability, there were child marriage, and there were sati. The most dangerous or ferocious thing about our culture was sati, which was abolished by Lord William Bentinck. So if we consider carefully, then we can't say that every oppression or Britishers has only did wrong to us. No, some Britishers, with the help of our initiators, or with the initiation of our local people or local king or local leaders at that time, because of their initiation, the Britishers, they abolished all the superstitions, most of the superstitions like sati, untouchability and child marriages. So sati was, I think most of you know about sati. Sati was something like a tradition where the wife was used to be burned alive at the funeral of that lady's husband. Okay, so how they can burn a live person. Okay, and the most sad thing about that time was child marriages. So one small girl was married to a 80-year-old person, and it is 100% guaranteed that the person won't live for more days, and after the person dies, they used to do sati of that child, and it was so dangerous for the society. Okay, so at that time there were a lot of superstitions. Okay, all the misery in the world is due to women, and women were considered as minority. They were having no place in the society. People used to think that every problem is because of the women of that our country. Okay. The truth was that Indians had lost self-respect. The British scorned them. The natives are unworthy of trust, incapable of honesty. The truth, so in the second stanza, you can see that there was a discussion between Britishers that Indians, they have lost self-respect. The British scorned them. Okay. The natives are unworthy. So in this you can see that how the Indians, they lost their self-respect and how Britishers, they used them. Okay. The natives are unworthy of trust, incapable of honesty. So the one Britisher is discussing among the and saying to the other, and they are discussing among each other that the Indians are not loyal and you can't trust them. Okay. True, Your Honor, but I am honest. So they are becoming like slave, and they are saying to the Britishers that one person is saying, means it's just an example that the Indians are saying that no, my lord, it's true, honor, I am honest, so you can keep me. Okay. Being merchants, the British wanted quick profit. Their heavy taxes forced farmers to abandon their field. So being merchants, being businessmen, merchants is businessman who comes to other places to do business, right? The British wanted quick profit. They wanted more and fast profit. Their heavy taxes forced farmers to abandon their fields. So they had placed heavy taxes on the farmers, and these were some examples like Rathwari settlement, Mahalwari settlement. Okay, so these they used to keep lot of tax on the permanent settlement. So they used to keep lot of tax on the farmer, on the common people, on the peasants of our country. So the peasants were so much suffering that first of all they have to take the land for lease, and then once again if they have to pay most of their crop and most of their profit to the Britishers, then what will be there for them to eat? So they were having nothing. So they left the field and they started to starve. Okay, and they started a famine also. But your men are taking all my crops. So in this scene you can see that one farmer is saying to one of the British leader that your men are taking all my crops. You are still in arrears. If you don't pay next week, I will send you to jail. So in reply, the Britishers were saying that you are still in due, and if you don't pay next week, I am going to send you to jail. Still, the British invented other methods which gave them more profit. Later, they invented more method. Later, they understood that farmers are very, very important. So they made lot of other methods from how they can get more profit. Okay, so you can get detailed of this. Means I think you will get only detailed view of all these things in history of your syllabus, in SST of your syllabus. Like I will tell you the names of the chapter, like trade to territory and ruling the countryside. Okay, you can get detailed information about all these things in your SST. It's just glimpses, as the chapter refers, just a quick view of the operations and tortures done by the East India Company. Okay, the goods manufactured in England should not have any import duty when brought into India. So they used to manufacture goods in England, but there was an import duty, means taxes. Here duty refers to taxes, but the Britishers abolished that import taxes. Okay, a good idea. The East India Company's loss began to cripple Indian industry. So their loss started to cripple, started to crush the Indian industry. Inevitability famines followed between 1822 and 1836. 15 lakhs Indians died of starvation. The British policies ruined the export artisans and their business. So now, along with the agriculture, they started to cripple the industry. So what will happen? They are having no other option to work. So started famine. Now when the famine started in 1822. Okay, famine in 1822 to 1836. In this period of time, 15 15 lakhs people died because of starvation, and slowly the British policies spoiled all the artisans and their talent. Okay, Raja Rammohn Roy. The fourth point, okay, is about Raja Rammohn Roy. He was the one of the leader of our country at that time, who did lot of hard work, who was actually an intellectual person, who did lot of hard work to abolish all the superstitions and to stop all the oppressions done on women. Okay, so Raja Rammohn Roy. The time period is 1772 to 1833. Okay. Now we'll read about Raja Rammohn Roy. Raja Rammohn Roy, a learned man from Bengal, so he used to belong from Bengal, understood what was wrong with the country. So he knew what was wrong with our country. Let us not despise ourselves. Our ancient culture is great and we are capable of greater achievements. We must first reform our society. Superstitions have been ruining us. So he said that we should not despise, we should not cheat ourselves. Our ancient culture is great and we are capable of greater achievements, and we are capable of greater achievements. See, the invention of mathematics, culture, traditions, everything was there in our ancient culture. But in the middle, because of some superstitions and profit of the higher caste people, we faced lot of oppression, right? Lot of tyranny, lot of torture. We must first reform. So he said we have to reform, we have to clarify, we have to bring revolution in our society first. Superstition should be driven away. Superstitions have been ruining us. So he said that superstition is spoiling us. So first thing we have to do is to drive away the superstitions from our culture and to make our culture without any superstition and great as it is in our ancient culture. He told his wife Uma, cows are of different colors, but the color of their milk is same. Different teachers have different opinions, but the essence of every religion is same. So Raja Rammohn Roy, he gave an example that different teachers can be different, but the point they will be teaching will be same, right? Because the cows who are giving milk can be of different color, but the milk will be of same color, isn't it? Now, see one small example. Suppose you find two teachers, two English teachers and two chemistry teacher, or two teachers of any subject. They are going to teach you same thing. Might be the teachers are different, but the idea they are going to give you will be same. Okay. Now, he was attracted by science and modern knowledge. Knowledge should be practical and scientific. So, Raja Rammohn Roy was very much attracted by science and knowledge. So, he was modern knowledge. Modern knowledge means technology, scientific technology and science has attracted Raja Rammohn Roy. Knowledge should be practical and scientific. So he always used to think that the knowledge should be practical and there should be some logic. There should not be any superstitions and without logic things. Okay. He started newspaper, but suspicious British stopped them in 1823. So British stopped his newspaper. He actually started newspaper to spread awareness about the country, not for independence or something like that, for his own country, to drive away the superstitions. But Britishers were suspicious. They doubted him that he was doing something wrong and trying to guide or trying to make people aware to revolt. So they stopped his newspaper. He crossed the seas and went to England to see what made the British powerful. Then he told them. So he crossed the sea, as it was not allowed for any Indian to cross the sea. It was said that if you cross the sea, your religion is going to ruin, or you are going to lose your religion. But still he went to England, he crossed the sea, and he went why? What made them Britishers powerful? We accept you as rulers, and he said to them that we accept you as ruler, and you must accept us as subjects. But you must remember the responsibility a ruler owes to his subjects. You please accept us as subjects, and please you should have some responsibility on your subjects. Okay, so please take care of us and do something to impart good knowledge for our country. Oppressions. Fourth point is oppression or tyranny or torture. 1765 to 1835. Okay, so the torture started from 1765 after the Battle of Bhakta in 1764, 1 year later. But the British continued to oppress Indians. In 1818, they had passed Regulation 3. Under it, Indian could be jailed without trial in the court. So, according to Regulation 3, any Indian can be arrested without any trial. So, before at least there should be trial whether the person is guilty or not. But with the help of Regulation 3, with the announcement of Regulation 3, they can arrest any Indian without any trial. They can be sent to the jail. All the time British officers in India drew big salaries and also made fortunes in private business. By 1829, British was exporting British goods worth 7 crore rupees to India. The British prepared on the company's loot while Indian industries began to die. So Britishers, the one thing you should know that the company was used to send, and the employees working in the company were looting the company, and they were earning lot of money as they were hired with lot of high salaries. Okay, but because of company's loot, what happened? The Indians industries, they died or they crippled the Indian industries. Governor General Bentinck reported back home the bones of cotton weavers are bleaching the plains of India. So see, now the companies used to send people to India to do business properly, but the actual queen or king of the England, they never advised them to do oppression on the countrymen. So when William Bentinck went back, he reported that the bones of the cotton weavers are bleaching the plains of India. Now see, what happened is the Britishers employees who used to work in British East India Company were doing operation for their own business. They were running their own private business, so they were doing those type of operations and tortures. But it was not advised by the Queen or the King of England, okay, who actually was the owner of the company or who used to send. Okay, so now see, what was the problem is the few good people who used to come for the working in the company, they felt that to some extent they are doing operation and torture, and they used to report. And one fine thing is, Robert Clive, who had fought the first war, became very rich and they went back to India. But the Britishers doubted him, and they asked what was the reason why they did operation on the countrymen of India. So later he was about to sent to the jail, but before that he committed suicide. So everything was not advised by the country, but operations started and torture started because of the people or the employees of the East India Company. Dissatisfaction. Now there came a feeling of dissatisfaction, 1835 to 56. Education in India was in Persian and Sanskrit. In 1835, an Englishman named Macaulay suggested a change. So before it was only Persian language and Sanskrit in our country. But after 1835, there was an Englishman who suggested that we should start English too in your country. We should teach the natives through the English language. I agree. So they discussed among each other with the British East India Company, and they thought that we should teach this country English. So here starts the coming or existence of English into our country from 1835 because of Macaulay. English education produced clerks to whom the British gave petty jobs under them. Incidentally, it also produced a new generation of intellectuals. We must educate our brothers and try to improve their material conditions. For that, we must convey our grievances to the British Parliament. So, English education, they gave some clerical jobs to the countrymen, to our country people. But what happened? They made some, along with that, they made some intellectuals. So, here is a discussion that between the Indian people that we must educate our brothers, and they have to get good salary job, and we have to improve their financial condition. So, we have to say about our grievances, our problem to the British Parliament. By 1856, the British has conquered the whole of India. So by 1856, the whole India was conquered, came under the territory of Britishers. They cared little about the need of Indians. Our kings have become puppets and we have lost our whole job. And land, they are converting our brothers who only talk to something to drive them out. So there is a discussion between the Indian people that so when they became superior and when they conquered the whole India, they didn't care that much for the need of the Indian people. Instead, they were thinking about their own people. So the kings have our kings. So there is a discussion that our kings have become the puppet of these Britishers. So we have to do something to drive them out from our country. The spark. So it started sparking, means a feeling of revolt. Okay, started to come from 1855 to 57. Taxes continued to ruin the peasants. In Bengal, the Santals who had lost their land under new land rules became desperate in 1855. They rose in rebellion and massacred Europeans and their supporters alike. Discontent was brewing in East India Company's army too. The white soldiers get huge pay, mansions to live in, servants, while we get a pittance and slow promotion. The Angrez ask us to cross the sea, which is against our religion. Who is the Topiwala to abolish our age-old customs? We must drive out the Angrez. Sepoy Mangal Pandey attacked the adjutant of his regiment and was executed. So you see that there was a lot of troubles in the sepoys also. So the Indian sepoys or the sipahis used to get less pay, but compared to the Indian sepoy, the white skin or the foreign sepoy or the British sepoy used to get more payment. The Indian sipahis was deprived of all the all the promotions and facilities. But whereas the British sipahis were given all the promotions and the facilities. Okay, so they felt that, and there was a custom that the Indian who crossed the sea is going to lose their religion. So they were discussing among themselves that who are these Britishers or Topiwalas, means Topiwala is referred to as Britisher here. Okay, so who are these Topiwala Britishers to tell us to abolish our age-old customs? Okay, so we must drive them. So after all this, Mangal Pandey, one Sipahi who used to work in the East India Company's army, he revolted, he fought, and later he was executed. Okay, he was killed by the by the British East India Company. Thousands of other sepoys revolted. They were stripped of their uniforms, humiliated, and put in irons. So thousands who revolted along with Mangal Pandey, or later thousands of sipahis, they stripped, they made them nude, and they chained them in iron bars. Okay, and inserted them. Few Englishmen had cared to understand Indian customs or people's mind. O proud Brahmin soldiers, do you know that the grease on the bullet you have to buy is made from fat of cow and pig? What? The white man has deceived us too. Soon, so there was a discussion that, as I have informed you, the reason of the fight or the first war of independence was this. Okay. Soon, chapatis were sent from village to village to tell the people that their emperor would want their service. Yes, all my village men will be ready. Similarly, lotus flowers circulated among Indian soldiers, dead to foreigners. The lotus flower at that time was circulated to the Indian people or the Indian soldiers, and they were sending same messages that they want death of the foreigners. The masses gave all help and shelter to the patriot. So all the people, they gave shelter and help to the patriots, to the deshbhakts, to the people who are sacrificing their life, who are working for their country. Revolt. So the revolt started in 1857. Then there was a violent outbreak at Meerut. The sepoys marched to Delhi. Long live our Emperor Bahadur Shah. So Bahadur Shah was the last Mughal emperor. Okay. So actually the last Mughal, we can say, means his sons were not efficient. Bahadur Shah was at least last efficient Mughal ruler. Okay. So the rebellion spread wider. Many landlords had lost their land because of the British policies, and they were so. The white man's rule must end. Yes, we will help you. So they thought that we have to help Bahadur Shah, and we have to get rid of these Britishers. So they did lot of effort, and they asked from Bahadur Shah to drive them away. Okay. The fight of freedom, 1857. Many former rulers like Begum Hazrat Mahal of Lucknow were bitter. The white man has taken away my kingdom. Popular leaders like Maulvi Ahmedullah of Farziabad told the people, "Rise, brother, rise. The Angrez is ruining our land." They joined the upsurge against the foreigner. The people rose everywhere in Bareilly, Kanpur and Allahabad. So, from all the places, the people started to fight for their right. Azimullah Khan told Tatyar Ko, "We should have Peshwa Nana Sahib as our leader in this war of independence." The patriot pounced upon the British and fought pitched battles all over North India. Okay, so they wanted Tatyar Tope as leader. They wanted Nana Sahib as leader, and they fought a war against the Britishers. 80-year-old Kavar Singh of Bihar received a bullet in his wrist. Mother Ganga, this is my last offering to you. So these are all Kavar Singh, that is 80-year-old Kavar Singh was also very ferocious about this oppressions or torture, that they wanted freedom from this tyranny and oppression. So everybody fought their best, but the result was that not that much effective. They didn't win actually. Okay, so from this chapter you have got some idea from how the people came, the Britishers came, and how they started to rule, and it will give you some idea of the past, about the sacrifices our martyrs made, what effect our martyrs did, how much they worked hard to give us independence. Okay, so this was not a 1 day, 2 year, 2 year process. It took 100 years, more than 100 years to get the independence. Okay, so I hope this chapter is clear to you, as this is a very long chapter. In my next class, I will be giving you the question answers from this chapter. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, just hit the like button along with the bell button and subscribe our channel. Okay, thanks a lot. Take care. Stay tuned with us for more videos.